Check this out. Yes, J-Doc, CJ, and V the Gorilla. They call us alternative, yeah, cause we ain't vanilla. We got the hard-hitting facts coming out that Manila. For the truth that the media's afraid of the realest. Check the statement of the deep state, yeah, they faked it. Mainstream news pull the cover up as sacred. Everybody hates it, but who's the one to face it? It's road news to expose truth to the nation. Yo, who the ones are not afraid to speak the truth? Educate the youth, exposing lies and who they listen to. Hey, they want to call collusion, you ain't got the proof. Who? A lot of people lying now, but what they got to lose? Yeah, but we're not like that. Only interested in facts, making sure we get it right on the trust of the mass. Population's only strong when liberty's intact, and as a wise man said, if it's not, it will last. It was George Washington, by the way.
Hello, CJ, are we live?
We are live.
Alrighty then, folks. It's the one and only notorious, glorious V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live. It's Monday, another manic Monday. So many things are happening. You will wish it's Sunday. Look at that, dude. I could do Mother Goose. Who would have thought? Well, I can't have fun, CJ. It might offend some people. I might read about it in the comment. You are juvenile, and we don't know why people listen to you. Can't help it, guys. You gotta have some fun.
It's news with a personality, right? I mean,
maybe I should just sound like Ben Stein. That's what I should do, CJ. I should sound like Ben Stein. Yes, and I'm sure that would go over well. And I'll just sit there and read the news with no commentary whatsoever.
No, don't do that.
Don't want to do that, my man. Anyway, folks, check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News. Then on every single podcasting app and everything else, you can find us as Rogue Money, because we're still switching over. Be patient with us. Be patient. But more importantly, folks, subscribe. Subscribe. If you're hearing us for the first time, you need to subscribe. Why? Because we got the best guests. We have the best analysis, and we give you the best play-by-play of what the hell's going on. We might challenge your views, and you might not like that, but heck, we're giving you another opposite perspective than what you're used to, number one. And number two, you might even like us. You might have the same viewpoint on us. Well, then, if that's the case, you found yourself a new home. But either way, folks, subscribe to Rogue News. I can't emphasize that enough. Hit us with a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but hopefully a thumbs up. And leave your comments on the bottom. Those are all wonderful, wonderful things. Negative or good. You can make fun of me, tell me that I smell, whatever, you know. With that being said, check out the sponsors that keep this broadcast rocking and rolling, that pay the bills over here. Check out mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com. You can get all sorts of deliciousness there, whether it's the coffee, the CBD-infused coffee, the chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes, or the I keep getting it, the white chocolate pecan truffles. Those are delicious. My God. And the granolas. Or you could just, get some pet treats. They got dog food treats over there that are CBD infused. 99.99999% CBD infused isolate, folks. And with that being said, also check out our other sponsor, the Watchers Trade School, the Watchers Trade Room. That's WUT what.live. See, do we have that link there?
Yeah, it's up.
What.live? Okay, good. Yeah, what.live, folks. That's where you need to go to learn how to trade, get yourself in the game. What.live, make it happen for you. It's no lie. And right now, see, the crypto market's about to run. I'm going to have the guys on today to talk about it. So it's going to be pretty awesome. We're still trying to find a way to simulcast on the what.live YouTube, as well as the Rogue News YouTube, trying to simulcast it, but Google hasn't given us the go-ahead or the permission to do that, so be patient with us while we work on that aspect of things. Maybe the producer extraordinaire can do some magic using his advanced lithium crystals and flux capacitors.
Yeah, let me know what time. And,
I'm thinking maybe 1 o'clock, man. 2 o'clock.
One will work.
2 o'clock
one will work today. One will work today. One will work.
Okay, so I'll let the guys know and see what come out.
2 o'clock I can do 2, but I have to remote after a certain time. You know what I'm saying?
God, let's do 1. Let's do 1.
Okay, cool.
So let me get those guys on. All right. So with that being said, also check out remaincom.net, remaincom.net. Whether you're getting sued or you're about to have everything taken away from you, remaincom.net will protect you and your assets. Reach out to them, remaincom.net. Or you ain't got no issues like that. You just want to get money. There's a new funding program that's out. Brand new, baby. Brand new. And I want to thank all the thousands of people that went through the first funding program and have really benefited from it. The new funding program, it's up to $800,000. That's right. $800,000 unsecured from a network, CJ, of over 50 some odd lenders. It is sick. It's absolutely sick. So anyway, go to remaincom.net, make it happen for yourself. Maybe you don't need 100K. Maybe you don't need 800K. Maybe you just need 100K or 200K. Whatever it is to make you okay, whether you want to launch your own business, start your own investments, whatever the heck it is you want to do, man, I don't know, maybe put on a new addition for your house and you want to go to the bank and ask them for $5,000 at 30% interest. Before you do that, go to for real, man, the banks are nuts, bro. They're crazy. You know, go to remaincom.net and click that funding program and make it happen for you. With that all out of the way, Siege, what's crack-lacking, my friend?
Hey, good morning, V. Good morning. Doing great. I felt really good. You know, it's it's October 1st. Last night I was just thinking about how fast the year is going by. You know, lots of great things going on, lots of questions and everything. But yeah, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope our listeners had a good weekend. The weather here's been amazing, like lower 70s in the night. You know, the type of temperature that you raise the windows up and sleep with the windows open, get that fresh air. But yeah, doing great, man. And no, for our listeners, I haven't been popping any edibles or anything like that this morning. So I'm just feeling good.
That's it. So you're just sitting there popping edibles, drinking Jack and Coke. It's another morning. Let's see. Oh man, hey, this weekend you put out the Mark Taylor interview, huh?
Yeah, the Mark Taylor interview, and just give our listeners a little bit of background. I was somewhat familiar with Mark's work. I know he did a show with Greg Hunter, and one of the guys that helps us to, provide interviews, some of the contacts. It's hard, like when managing your time, and people are like, "Hey, interview this person." That I'm almost like, "Hey, if you can get them and land them, let me know." And so one of the persons that's helped us to do that, Matthew, he's like, "Hey, I've got Mark Taylor and he wants to talk about," and I know it's controversial because a lot of people are like, oh, it's it's touting the Bible and religion and we don't believe in prophecy and everything. Mark, it is fact, and I went back to document that he did put out that that Trump was going to get elected, like way before anyone thought he was even going to run. Yeah. And then also one angle that I like what Mark says is specifically, and if people would give it a chance, I think a lot of people started commenting before they even listened to it. They just were like, Mark Taylor and the Trump prophecies. What I do like what he specifically says is that, that the traditional church setting and how organized religion has been used to steer people in a lot of the wrong direction. Yep. Not only the Catholic Church, like he specifically says it, he says it's the Christian churches as well. That they form these corporations, these 501c3s, and they misguide their people, and they've been doing it for years. And that is going to change. That is specifically going to get weeded out. And people are going to come to the realization that a lot of these religious institutions need to change. And I so believe that, V, as well, because I think in part we would not be where we are today. I mean, the Catholic Church is a perfect example of the conspiracies, as crimes has been committed, a lot of hidden meaning from the Bible that they keep from us, that they don't want us to know. Specifically, they want to translate the Bible into their own teaching, their own belief systems versus the interpretation. And so, yeah, so give it a chance. Give it, listen to it. They did make a documentary about it that gets released. He specifically wanted it released before the midterms. So it's only showing on 2 days only, but you can go to the website, key in your zip code, and hopefully there's some theaters near you that'll be showing that documentary over.
Say theaters again.
Theaters.
Okay. I thought you said theaters. There's some theaters.
There's some theaters. Go check out the theaters. Right. Yeah, so go check it out. And like I said, just a different perspective. He does talk about Q. He does talk about Q, which we've talked about with several times with the listeners. That if you believe the Q stuff, go for it. That's you. That's your freedom. That's your liberty. I really don't try a whole lot anymore to really say, no, you gotta align with my thought agenda, or leave, or unsubscribe, or don't subscribe.
How about this one? V, you talk all this crap about Q, and you go on shows with these people that you call your colleagues and friends, and they believe in Q, and how do you have them on? How dare you, V? Dude, why do people get their panties in a bunch over this stuff? Is beyond me. I have my stance. You don't have to believe a damn word I say. You don't have to agree with anything I say. It's a free country, man. Just take the info for what it is, file it away, do your own research. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Bingo.
Like, you're waiting for crow. You're ready to eat crow. I'm like, yeah, I'm still waiting to eat crow. I'm still waiting. Yes, I am waiting to eat crow. How about you, CJ? Are you waiting to eat crow?
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, if you want to leave it in the comment sections that, I saw one over the weekend that I'm unsubscribing from you and London Paul, and I'm unsubscribed from the Hat Trick letter. And I'm like, that's your prerogative. I mean, I hate that you're doing that, but if you choose to do that, then that's your free will, brother. So, go out and do it. Don't expect me to join the chat room and try to convince you and change your mind. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, man. I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, that's good. So anyway, folks, go check it out. Mark Taylor's interview. It's great. I haven't gotten a chance to fully listen to it. I will be listening to it. And again, folks, a great person who looks at data, who analyzes data, always listens to things, whether you agree with it or not. I think half the time I think Benjamin Fulford is stripping out on acid. But is that going to stop me from listening to Benjamin Fulford? No, I'm going to listen to him. I listen to everybody. I take what everybody says with a grain of salt. Hey, I take what I say myself with a grain of salt. Excuse me, I'm like trying to untangle cords from my desk here.
Yeah, I think the most dangerous perspective to align with is being more focused and worried about being right than wrong. A true leader will be humble enough to admit when they're wrong.
Exactly.
You don't want to fall into the trap and the likes of someone like Elon Musk, who really was over his head in terms of in a way, V, I do feel sorry for Elon Musk, because he very well probably could have been a successful engineer, very successful scientist, analytics, probably helped a company. But before you jump into that role of CEO and chairman of the board, I mean, what if he would have hired someone that had years of experience of doing that, someone that could have kept him in his check to say, hey, don't do some of these things. And now you look where he's having to resign from the board. He's under investigation. I mean, all these things. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, man. And the whole other thing is this. It's when you look at it this way, with Musk is a megalomaniac. That's why he can never hand over the company to anybody. That's why he had to be the center focus of the whole thing, number one. And number two is this. Tesla is such a crappy product company. They make crap. They make absolute driveled dog shit. That they market. It's dog shit. There's no other word for it. And what happens is that you need a personality. You need a controversial personality like Elon Musk. And in the beginning of this whole con job, it is a con job, Elon Musk was the perfect guy. People gravitated towards him. People thought he was Tony Stark. They called him Iron Man. Literally, when watching these Tesla keynotes, people are in the audience saying, save us, Elon, literally screaming out, save us, Elon, when he's opening up his mouth, talking about some sort of vaporware that he has on a drawing on a cocktail napkin somewhere. It's just literal nonsense. And as the scam that is called Tesla, as the Ponzi scheme that is called Tesla is beginning to unravel, now all of a sudden you can't have this idiot shooting his mouth off. It's no longer, conducive, because now the emperor's naked. And now people are starting to see. I've been questioning Tesla from the get-go. David Stockman's been questioning Tesla from the get-go. There's a couple of ardent voices, and I've peeled into Tesla. I've told you exactly how the game is played. How they're every single tweet he's manipulating stocks. He's keeping it up. All the background things that are happening in Tesla, as best as available, I've detailed that for you guys over the course of the damn 2 years. So I'm glad he's stepping down. I'm glad, notice the stocks are up. The stocks are up. Of course, there's going to be a pump on that. Tesla's it's a done company. Stick a fork in it.
I thought their stock was way down. I thought their stock was collapsing. It's up
Yeah,
again.
it was. And then it jumped a little bit. It's still down from highs, but it did jump. Ride the wave. It's a trader's market when it comes to Tesla. Ride it. Make your money off it and dump it when the time comes to jettison Tesla. Dump it like a bad habit. It is what it is. I'm not giving financial advice here, but that's what I would do.
And on top of that, how much of the formidable advice as far as jumping into a lot of various businesses that he did, with SpaceX, and then I want to develop this semi, and by the way, I can help rescue underwater things because I've made this thing. If you have one aspect of your business, do it and do it very well. Yeah. And they were so far away from their production goals with their cars, the troubles they started running into early on. It may not be wise to go jumping into some other big business venture before you nail down, ABC. Don't go to XYZ, get ABC laced down. I mean, shoot, it's not nearly the scale as Elon Musk, but I love that I work with my CBD edibles, Elise, and she's great. She's very creative, and she's like, I want to do CBD shatter, and next I want to do CBD water, and I want to do this, and I'm like, time out. Let's get what we're doing right now, right, before we go jump into anything else. But lessons learned, and I think that's very important for any of our listeners that go into business or business partners, that you're realize, understand your performance, understand your limitations, and in those situations, if you're not the right person to lead or do some of those things, then go hire the right person, right? Go find the right person to lead that ship. So. Anyway, sorry about that. I kind of went off on a tangent there. Go ahead.
No worries, man. No worries whatsoever. No, I agree. It's it is what it is with Tesla. Siege, we got some things here on the board. Where do you want to start, my man? I'm going to let you pick today.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into the new NAFTA, which to me is a good sign. I think that this is something that desperately the United States needed, was to take a look at NAFTA and renegotiate the trade deals with Mexico and Canada. It looks like this was the 11th hour deal that the administration, their trade negotiations worked out with Canada, bringing Canada in part, with Mexico to realign some of these trade deals that have shifted jobs out of the country the past several years. And with the latest trade data that came out, it was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad month of August. So we needed something to work with our trade partners close to us here in the United States. Reduce some of those tariffs, especially with some of the farming market and also the dairy sector, which I can't believe it. Someone said there was like 30% or 40% tariffs on U.S. dairy to Canada. Well, that's pretty crazy, right? So again, this is a good deal. My only hesitation, reserve, and I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth. However, Trump is allowing, and I'm not sure if it was part of NAFTA or the deal, but he is giving Canadian cannabis manufacturers the ability to ship to the United States for research. And I think that may have been part, but if the administration had the right people aligned that could influence Trump to say, hey, listen, Mr. President, we have a very viable cannabis industry here in the United States. There's no reason for universities, for medical institutions to import their cannabis if we just legalize here in the United States. And by the way, Mr. President, there are millions of dollars that are leaving the United States for some of these top north of the border, in Canada specifically, lots of dollars flowing in and investments to Canada. We're falling behind Canada. So that would be one area that can make a huge impact to the United States, is to remove it completely from the schedule. Let that push forward. Let those, not that I'm a fan of taxes, but I'd rather create different goods and services that could help relieve some of the tax burden versus raising taxes on the current situation. So that's the only miss that I see, would be to include that the cannabis industry. And we know that, Canada has national legalization.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, a very good point. All right, see, Trump signs the minibus spending bill that demands more Democrats supported than GOP. What's this all about, brother?
This is one of those things that makes you kind of scratch your head. And this happened while we were going through the entire Kavanaugh confirmation. And it appears that the Democrats are going to get their way in terms of this minibus spending bill that gives appropriations for the Department of Defense, Department of Defense, the Labor, the Health and Human Services, and Education. It's going to fund it. Yesterday was the end of the government's fiscal year, so this is a new 2019 fiscal plan that goes in. But when you break down and take a look at the numbers, I guess the thing with this article from CNNS that they highlight is the fact that there was written into the bill an amendment that would cut the funding to Planned Parenthood for their use of baby parts, but apparently in the final bill that passed, it included that it removed that. So this bill will still fund a lot of those things that Trump said he would not. In fact, there are more Democrats who supported this bill than Republicans. You can take a look there at the senators that opposed the bill, the likes of several that we don't like, obviously, but Rand Paul, Bernie Sanders, that just didn't agree with this type of spending. But these are the things that you walk away in the evening, like kind of scratching your head, where was the fight? Where was the Republican fight? Why didn't the president send it back and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to sign this. I'm going to send it back down. You guys need to do something different with it. These are the things that, as I've said, just lead me to kind of scratch my head wondering, why would we do these things? You know what I mean?
What are they saying in the chat rooms about this one, Siege?
I don't think that people are very aware of it. I mean, unless you do the research to bring it up, I really don't see anything about it. Again, the national attention was on Kavanaugh the entire week, and even yeah.
So when the Republican Senate leadership initially would not allow a floor vote on the amendment offered by Senator Rand Paul, God bless Rand, I love him, that would have added to this married Senate bill language prohibiting funding of Planned Parenthood, Paul went to the Senate floor to speak about it. And this is what Rand Paul says: big spending Republicans fear that blocking funding for Planned Parenthood would derail their plans to greatly expand their welfare warfare state. I love that term.
Very true. It's very true.
Welfare warfare state. What do you call a welfare warfare state? You call it Nazism. You call it Nazis. You call it the true definition of fascism. So be it. The public has long known that Democrats are the abortion party. Now the public will know that many Republicans just pay lip service to pro-life issues and are really more concerned with bloated government spending than with saving lives. When Paul challenged him this way, the GOP leadership relented and allowed a vote on his amendment to prohibit Planned Parenthood funding in the Married Defense, Labor, Human Health Services, Education bill. What kind of a friggin' bill is this? You're taking defense, labor, health and human services, and education, and you're having this chimera, this mutated chimera of the worst of big government projects. And Senator Rand Paul wants to put a stop to this. Hey, let's put the vote to the floor. And of course, the do-nothing, nutless wonders that we know as the Republicrats, whose only job is to empower the Democrats. You hear me, folks? Democrats, Republicrats, two wings on the same dragon. So the Republicrats pay lip service to it, tell you how much they care about pro-life, and how how much life begins at conception, and all this other yada 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 BS. Give you a nice little circle jerk, and then do nothing about it. This conference committee version, like the Senate version, permitting funding of Planned Parenthood and aborted baby parts research. When it was brought up for a vote on the Senate floor on September the 18th, Senator Mike Lee rose to denounce it. Good on you, Lee. For the second straight year of unified Republican governance, unified pro-life governance, Congress annual spending bills will include no new reforms protecting unborn children or getting federal taxpayers out of the abortion business. The House version of this Health and Human Services spending bill included multiple reforms, It denied taxpayer funding to the largest abortion provider in the country, Planned Parenthood. It eliminated Title X family planning grants, which cross-subsidized abortion providers. It provided federal funding of research on aborted fetal tissue. It included the Conscious Protection Act, protecting pro-life people and groups from funding discrimination. Under this bill, said Lee, neither the unborn nor the taxpayers are any more protected from the abortion industry than they were under President Obama and the Unified Democratic Congress. So what the hell is the difference? The hell is the difference? When the Republicans' House leadership brought down this bill for a final vote on September 26, Barbara Lee, Democrat from California, a Democratic membership of the House Appropriations Committee, gave a speech. As a member of the Labor and Health and Human Services Education Funding Committee, she said, I am pleased to see many good provisions of this bill. This bill eliminates hundreds of poison pill writers, ranging from efforts to defund Planned Parenthood, eliminate teen pregnancy and Title X, to dismantling of critical labor and consumer protections. After it passed on Wednesday, the House Appropriations Committee issued a statement saying the U.S. House today approved an appropriations minibus funding bill, which includes the Department of Defense. The fuck is going on? Dude, there's something nefarious going on here, Steve.
No, it's just an appropriations
No. It's not just a no.
Oh,
No.
that the administration is walking lockstep with the.
There's something nefarious going on over here. My Spidey's tenses, my gorilla senses are tingling, bro. Watch this. My eye caught it, and it just immediately triggered in my conscious what the hell this is. I want to read this again. Let me know if you guys catch this. The U.S. House today approved the appropriations minibus funding bill, which includes what? The Department of Defense, the Labor Department, Health and Human Services, and the Education Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2019. Why are they still funding? Why fund the research? Why continue funding abortions in order to do what? Baby parts. Baby parts. Siege, what have we been cracking down on for the last year or so? What type of trafficking?
Yeah, human trafficking, and
and we know that children are trafficked for a wide nefarious reasons. Sex trafficking and what else kind of trafficking are children involved in this issue?
Yeah.
Besides sex trafficking, what else?
Organs.
Why keep funding? Hell, why increase the funding for fetal tissue research, for baby part research? Why is the Defense Department in on it? Why is the Defense Department involved? Just weeks ago we were reporting, and even a year ago reporting, and even weeks ago reporting that the members of the DOD were out in Russia. They were out in Georgia. They were what? Scrounging genetic material from Russians and Georgians, from Slavic races. They were getting baby parts from there as well. Why is the DOD involved in that? Why is the DOD involved in this? Have you ever seen a bill where they're ramrodding multiple departments that have nothing to do with each other all together like this? And then they're continuing not only to keep funding, but to increase some of the funding behind this whole entire thing. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, it's business as usual in DC, right? It's like, okay, we're going to give you the DoD spending if you give us the social funding programs, and so that's just the political itself. That's just business as usual in DC. The things that we really hope that Trump would be a great disruptor to. So time after time again, when I say it's the things on the surface that we have to pay attention to, I'd be very curious in the Chan room, the Chan boards, whatever they're called, if they've talked about this and given reason why the administration would, and I don't want to turn this into a beat up on Trump, but we just witnessed what the Democrats did to Kavanaugh, his Senate nominee, or I'm sorry, his Supreme Court nominee. Why would they, we're sitting here asking for hardball, right? We're asking for blood, and here we're giving them their cake and ice cream too, V. It appears that way to me.
Yeah. No, exactly. This is all sorts of fishy, man. I think behind this, I'm gonna be left field. I'm gonna be far out there right now. I'm gonna get into a little bit of the woo woo. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But I want to go ahead and I'm gonna go get a little woo woo here. What if this whole thing is this continued? What if Planned Parenthood really is harvesting baby parts, but it's harvesting baby parts for genetic research that has to do with Defense Department and military industrial complex applications?
Well,
what if that's the reason? What if that is the front of Planned Parenthood is genetic research for the DoD?
That could be.
What if that is? I'm just going to throw it out there.
Right.
It's Monday morning. I want to get a little crazy, a little out there, gorilla. But think about it for a second. I mean, we've been hearing it for the last, year or so about all the genetic tissues that they were sampling from all over the world and whatnot. What if it's a continuation of it? What if it not only just goes for, not only going for creating new weaponized bioagents, but what if it has to also do with cloning? I mean, think about it for a second. What better front company you got for harvesting human DNA than Planned Parenthood? You are getting the stem cells, which are so vital, so valuable. You're getting it at the source, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, you want to get into human that is an unending supply of human genetic material available to you year after year, legally, without question. Legally, without question.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Anyway, moving on. Rebels leaving Syria, Siege. Rebels leaving Syria.
Yes.
First rebel group begins withdrawal from the demilitarized zone in Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on Sunday that a rebel group, Faliq al-Sham, has started withdrawing its forces and heavy arms from the demilitarized zone in northwest Syria. It's amazing when some S-300s show up and you realize that you cannot be Al-Qaeda's Air Force. Then all of a sudden, the Al-Qaeda quote-unquote rebels, in this case, the Falaq al-Sham rebel group, are deciding to leave. The group is the first to comply with a requirement to leave the demilitarized buffer zone set up by Turkey. And who else? Who set that up?
To leave? Well, I'm sorry.
Siege is on the jack.
I was reading something.
You're the worst.
Hey, honesty is the best policy. I was reading something else on the screen. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Well, Russia forced him out, and then what I was going to tell you was that Syrian girl released on her Twitter feed a video showing Iran launching missiles from Iranian territory into Syria, bombing some of these strongholds. And so that's a very clear message of their capabilities and what they can do.
Very clear. Absolutely.
But that provides cover for myself during that conversation. But go ahead.
All right. So it's Turkey and Russia to avert a Russian-backed Syrian army offensive, right? Russian-backed. So now you got S-300 there that we know that are there. The S-300s are alive and active. They're doing their thing. They're providing the air cover. What is going to happen to said Syrian rebel group? They realize, wait a minute, we just lost our air cover. We better get the hell out of Dodge. So the first group is already getting the heck out of Dodge. So that's a good thing. I'm very happy about that.
Yes. Yeah. It's long overdue. So hopefully the deep state players, they don't do anything disrupted and Israel's kept in check. Let's hope this continues.
Trump orders FBI investigation limited in scope into Ford's allegation against Kavanaugh. What is this all about, Steve? You break this one down for me.
Oh, dear Lord. Where do I chalk this up? And again, I said I was going to be nice to Trump today. Why? Why? I just keep asking myself, why?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing substantiated through her testimony to cave to the Democrats. Why? Why give them, why, even to Kavanaugh himself, I'm coming to his defense. Why put him and his family through another week's ordeal of being in the news? You know what they're going to do, V? They're going to look for inconsistencies in his testimony. They're going to look for something to say, hey, you lied while you were oath. So they may not even particularly invest. Not that I really care, but that's what they're going to do. And they're also going to force his family again to have to answer for all these questions. Why cave? Why? It really pisses me off. Here's what I think happened. I think his daughter, Ivanka, walked into his office and said, Daddy, the women are really upset right now. And I kind of support the Me Too movement, and I'm a New York social elite.
That's where you're wrong. It wasn't his daughter, it was Jared.
It was Jared.
He was wearing his daughter's dress
Daddy,
and walked in.
Daddy, what would be wrong? And Daddy, that women are going to come to your side because of this. If you do this, you give them the one more week, Daddy. Then this is really going to help you. It's going to help come the midterms and everything, Daddy. So we need to do this. Absolute bullshit. This is not going to help matters one bit. Maybe if he would have flipped the narrative, saying no, we're not going to investigate. Kavanaugh. We're actually going to investigate her. And we're going to investigate Dianne Feinstein to see exactly what happened here, but not to continue to put this guy, Kavanaugh, and his family under this investigation. I don't think one more week is going to prove any point. And if he's doing it thinking that he's going to change anyone's mind, forget it. He's not going to change the mind of the Me Too movement. He's not going to change the minds of the lamestream media. So why do this? I want a far more aggressive person. I mean, look what they did through that testimony. Look what they've done to this guy's life, and to put this on for another week. And I don't care if he didn't have the votes to confirm Kavanaugh. Let it be. If Kavanaugh gets declined and there's Republicans in the Senate that vote to not confirm him, then we know who the traitors are. We know who these SOBs are, and we can vote them the hell out because they do not stand for what the people represent. That's what it is. This doesn't represent any type of action that I regard as brave, as given another week for the FBI to investigate. Investigate what? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just one of these things that really pisses me off.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, my friend. Wholeheartedly. And the thing is this. How many times did Kavanaugh pass? How many times was an FBI background check done on Kavanaugh? How many times, Siege?
At least 7, right? At least 7.
Yeah, 6 times. 6 or 7 times it was done, and every single time the guy passed with flying colors. He went back and asked his friends back in the 80s, this, that, and the other. Now they're going to have this drunk friend who had all sorts of drinking and drug issues. He's going to come forward and testify. The guy named Mark Judge. He's going to go ahead and he's going to testify against Kavanaugh, and we're going to see how that crap show goes. Why capitulate? This is what kills me about the Republicans, and the Democrats give them no quarter. None. They don't give them an inch. They don't give them a millimeter. But the Republicans do. The Republicans. All right, fine. We'll give. Oh, you want a month? No. Okay, that's fine. No problem. We can give you a month. That's not a big deal. They don't. It's stupid. But of course, there's some three-dimensional chess being played here, right? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to go that negative or anything, but like again, chalk this one up
under.
Go
so negative. He's hot on the
heels
of,
right.
Of,
I mean, I know I started my day
with prophecy and destiny and God and the Bible. You got to bring up some negative news grounded in reality. God forbid, Siege.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start like searching like 2 articles or researching something that's positive, so I can include that.
Yeah, well, we need to play good cop, bad cop. You be the good cop. You talk about all the nice stuff, and I'll point out all the negative things. I'll let everybody get pissed off on me, Siege.
Well, you know what we could do? We could do that, and that would really mind F everyone, right?
Oh, that would. That totally would.
Because I feel like that's what we're getting right now. We're all getting truly mind effed, is what I feel like. Sometimes.
I want you to be nothing but a supporter, 100% without questioning anything of the administration. Number one, and number two, I want you to be a 100% ardent believer in QAnon. Okay,
I'll work on it.
Okay, good. You work on that, right? And I'll play the opposite role. My buddy Eric Prince of Blackwater XE Academy, insert name here. Now he's working for some Chinese defense contractor. Eric Prince pointing the way out of Afghanistan. The tab today is over $840 billion for military operations, $126 billion for reconstruction, probably another $1 trillion for veterans health care, over 2,400 dead, over 20,000 wounded. You know what I call that, CJ?
What's that be?
Mission accomplished. Think about it, Siege. $840 billion down the toilet in military operations, $126 billion for reconstruction down the toilet, $1 trillion for veterans health care down the toilet, 2,400 liquidated dead bodies gone and forgotten, except for those family members who have actually lost loved ones there in this stupid, idiotic operation, and 20,000 wounded who will never be the same because of the wounds that they received, and all the medical care and the psychological treatment that these poor souls will have to endure. You know what that's called to the deep state, CJ?
What's that mean?
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just round off $2 trillion spent in Afghanistan. Let's just round it off. $2 trillion, right?
Right.
So if we got $2 trillion spent in Afghanistan, how much money was made on the heroin trade?
Probably at least 2 times that.
Let me see. Let me use the power of Scroogle to find out.
Will also be, maybe I'm wrong here, but isn't that part also is to flood European EU and Russia held territory with drugs? I mean, wasn't that part of it to allow to flow into?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Illegal drug trade. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, man.
What'd you find?
Dude,
inquiring minds want to know.
Okay. United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Size of the global illicit drug trade. Dude, the amount of money that's made by the drugs, and then you count in the prison industry and all the other bureaucracies and all that other crap. Dude, they've made trillions in return. They made trillions. $30 trillion, bro, that they made. When you add up all the costs, the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the narco trafficking, all the money that the entire deep state industry, narco trafficking, defense contracting and weapons sales, the bloody the money laundering and all the fees, the prison industrial complex, they've made tens of trillions of dollars. Mission accomplished. You'd figure, CJ, you would figure that this would be one of the first things that would be cut down and stopped, correct?
Right. It's the oldest. Yeah.
I mean, people say, no, V, you don't understand. There's the whole operation in Afghanistan, V. You don't understand. That's why Trump said to go in, and he's got to get troops to go back in there because, he's got to stop them. It's really simple. I'm going to give you, you want to kill the heroin trade? I'm going to give you one simple solution. This is why CJ can never be president, because they after I fix everything in a week, they probably assassinate me. Here we go. I'm going to fix Afghanistan with one fell swoop. You ready? Cut the entire funding for Afghanistan. But the country will collapse. Exactly. I want it to collapse. It's already collapsed. All they've known is collapse for God knows how many decades, how many centuries. That's all they know is collapse. Let it go. You're not going to fix it. You're not going to fix thousands of years of stupidity. It's not going to be fixed by pumping money into it. Let it go. People over there do not think logically. They do not have a Western frame of mind where logic plus logic equals logic. Doesn't happen that way. It's tribal, it's religious, it's cultural, it's deep-seated crap that goes back thousands of years that you throwing a couple of greenbacks, a couple of dollars at it is going to fix the problem. So number one, I would cut funding, which will collapse instantaneously. Instantaneously, it will collapse the Afghan government, the puppet government that's set up there. Number two, I will pull out the United States. All military operations will cease. I will leave Afghanistan the way we left Hanoi. Okay? I would leave Afghanistan the way we left Saigon in the Vietnam War. I will have helicopter lifts. I would just get the hell out of there.
Right.
What about the heroin trade? How do you stop the heroin trade if we pull out? Who's going to stop it? Because that's why Trump sent the people in there to begin with. Our troops are there trying to stop the heroin trade. No, they're not. How do you stop the heroin trade? You let the damn country collapse. And guess who's going to fix the heroin trade for you? Take a guess. Come on, let's put a thinking hat together. The Taliban. The Taliban is going to fix the heroin trade. What do you mean, V? CJ, who destroyed the heroin trade in the world?
The Taliban. They were burning the poppy fields.
Bingo! And who did that rub the wrong way? Poppy Bush, a.k.a. Poppy. P-O-P-P-I, Poppy Bush. That's his middle name, as in poppy seeds. As in Mr. Heroin himself. Didn't like it. So he had Georgie Jr., little Georgie Jr. go in there and start a little war. We're going to hunt him down. We're going to bring him to justice. We're going to smoke these terrorists out. Now watch this swing.
I need some freedom. We're going to bring them some freedom in Afghanistan.
Some freedom. We're going to drop some freedom bombs on them, CJ. Because I talked to my advisor, and my advisor said we're going to bring some freedom upon them. Fool me once, shame on you. They talk about tribalism in Afghanistan. It's a sovereign entity. It's a sovereign entity. We're going to give it to them, CJ. We're going to smoke them out. Oh, yeah, we smoked them out all right. And all of a sudden, Afghanistan went from 0% poppy trades and heroin trade, 0% to 93% of the world's opium is now flowing out of Afghanistan. Hats off. So let me get this straight, Siege. Let me get this straight. Has funding for Planned Parenthood and the scavenging of baby parts for genetic research and defense applications, because that's what the hell it is. That's what the hell it is. Has that stopped or has that increased?
Increased.
So, CJ, the operations in Afghanistan and the production of opium, has that been stopped or has that been increased?
Increased.
Shall I keep going, folks? Are you now going to look me in the eye or look into your computer screen and tell me that, V, you don't get it, that this is 3D, 4D, 10D chess maneuver that QAnon has stated? Despite the cost in dollars and lives, there hasn't been much progress. There never will be. The Afghan central government controls or influences under 60% of the country. Let me tell you, that's a wrong sentiment. Anybody who tells you that the Afghan government influences only 60%, the Afghan government influences maybe 60% of Kabul. That's it. The Afghan government has zero influence or near zero influence outside of the capital of Kabul. And even in the city of Kabul, their quote-unquote influence is very loosely held because there are people getting killed in the streets to this day over religious BS. Okay? Very loose control. They have no control. Their control is predicated on the fact that U.S. tax dollars are propping them up. Got to keep the heroin trade going. Got to keep the heroin trade going. I mean, what do you mean he's going to fix the heroin trade by sending in more troops? What do you think the troops are doing there in the first place? I mean, do you need to do a Google search, an image search where you see Marines guarding poppy fields? Do you need to bring that up again? What are you saying, that the troops that have just been dispatched from this administration is going to go ahead and fight the troops that are already guarding the poppy fields? They're going to have a little war against themselves? It don't make sense. It's the same reason why Jeff Sessions wouldn't investigate the guy who installed the server in Hillary's closet, because it's too close to Hillary. The deep state actors don't what's the word I'm looking for? They don't snitch, or they don't arrest, or they don't act against another deep stater. There's some sort of an honor among thieves here. President Trump was channeling many Americans when he asked his national security advisor, what the fuck are we doing there? His own words, quote unquote. Excuse my language, but that's his quote. What the fuck are we doing there? Trump's own quote. Again, parlez-vous français. Though Trump didn't promise to leave Afghanistan during the campaign, his advisors, some of them, mired in the conflict for the past 2 decades, convinced him to authorize an additional 4,000 troops for training and counterterrorism missions. What is that going to do? Nothing. In parallel with a troop increase. Did I read that correctly? See, a troop what? Decrease, or was that an increase?
I think it said increase.
It said an increase. The administration slashed assistance to Pakistan, the state sponsor of Taliban. So, in other words, the only group that actually had the Taliban sucks. I know. But it's not our job to go around the world getting rid of people who suck. That's not our job. It's not our mandate. It ain't worth a drop of American blood. It ain't worth a drop of American sweat, and it ain't even worth a drop of an American penny. Who gives a rat's rear end? Afghanistan was a shithole before. It will be a shithole for thousands of years, millennia to come. You got a bunch of 7th century savages who are running the entire show out there. Leave them to it. Leave them to it. Us dropping bombs on Afghanistan didn't do nothing but kind of remodel the place a little bit. Oh, look, Walid. The destroyed building that was on that side is now on this side. Look at that. Now that building and this building, they're both exploded. I like it. The Americans, very good at remodeling. They don't care. They're used to that crap. It has nothing to do with us. 4,000 of our boys over there for no reason. 4,000 of our men. For what? Oh, now we got to go ahead and hit Pakistan, because Pakistan's supporting the Taliban. Let them. Do you understand that having the Taliban there is actually better at ending global drug trade, which is a far worse thing? I mean, before 9/11, did anybody even care or even knew what the hell was happening in Afghanistan? Did anybody care?
Nope.
And guess what was happening? If the Taliban go back there, nobody would care again. Nobody cares. It's not on anybody's radar. U.S. diplomats have started direct talks with the Taliban while reiterating that the end of the conflict will only come through an intra-Afghan settlement. At the same time, Uzbekistan diplomats hosted talks with the Taliban representatives as part of Tashkent's initiative to include Afghanistan and Central Asia, but to give the Taliban an interlocutor other than Pakistan. Trump's pro-intervention advisors probably want to block him from deciding to withdraw and upsetting the Afghan presidential election on April 20th, 2019. Parliamentary elections are well over. To give the new NATO commander time to make progress, also known as calendar creep. But Afghan President Ashraf Ghani's opponents and the Coalition for the Salvation of Afghanistan may hand Trump an opportunity to break out. The Coalition Assembly of Minority Tajiks, Uzbek, and Hazara. These are all the minority groups that are in Afghanistan. Surprise, surprise. The majority is the Pashtuns. The Tajiks, the Uzbeks, and the Hazara. The Hazara are the ones that look kind of Mongoloid. will be a serious challenge to the Ghani in April 2019. So here's the deal. What is the point of all this? It's another money pit. It's another haunt of narco trafficking. It's another haunt of human organ harvesting. Has any of these things stopped? It's another haunt of weapons deals. It's another haunt of fomenting war. It's another thing where the military-industrial complex profits. Has any of this stopped? Has it stopped? Has it stopped? No. No. None of it.
V, I had it playing in the background while you're talking, but there's a great documentary on RT. It's called The Afghan Overdose Inside the Opium Trade. If you or listeners get a chance to go watch it, it's very well done, puts together and illustrates what's happening there.
Absolutely. Check it out, folks. Check it out.
Oh, and also congratulations are one of our previous guests, Rachel Blevins, that used to do a lot of great articles on the Free Thought Project. She just landed a gig at RT as a correspondent. So congratulations to her. Yeah.
Awesome. Now she's too good for us, Siege.
No, we'll get her back on, and I need to make amends with Syria Girl. She's still upset at me, but I'll get her back on at some point. What the hell
did you do?
Remember, I told you I was trying to book her for an interview, and I sent her several emails, and then she showed up on InfoWars, and so I called her out and I said, "Hey, we've been trying to book."
DJ.
She responded to my tweet, so, and you came to her defense saying that they had a lot of bigger audience, and you didn't blame her.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, but look, where's Alex now? Huh?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. And we're just trudging along with our lowly, we're almost at 17,000 subs, bro.
Yeah, it bounced back up. It was good to see. It bounced right
crazy.
back up.
Watch. Now, over the weekend, we're going to have 200 disappear. We're going to wait we're back down to 16.6 again. For the 15th time in a row. Anyway, all in due time, folks. We are developing a platform. It's taking a ridiculous amount of money to develop, and we're trying our best. So once it's up, our goal is to not only move us, but all our cohorts, our entire affiliates, and everybody with us into one big, beautiful platform that you'll have access to on every single app store and television, smart TV. We're going to be everywhere. You won't be able to escape us, which is part of the plan. Anyway, we're going to be Google free, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Bingo.
All right. With that being said, folks, again, subscribe, like, comment, share, please. Show your love and support for us. Check out our sponsors. And with that being said, we are over and out. We'll probably be back at 1 o'clock with a trade show, so keep it locked right here. We're over and out. Take it away, CJ.
All right. Great show, bro.
Absolutely. Great show, buddy.
Awesome.
All right, man. So let me get these guys together, and we'll try to get up together at 1 p.m.
Okay. Sounds great.
Later, man. Bye.
All right. Later, boy.